The following photograph was recorded in the winter of 1862 at St. Bartholomew's Mortuary, London. It was commissioned as part of a routine post-mortem catalogue, one of 14 exposures taken that December to document unclaimed remains. The official ledger lists 5 bodies prepared for burial that evening. 5 shrouds were requisitioned from the linen store. 5 were signed for by the attending orderly. But the photograph shows 6. This is the case of the extra shroud. Look at the image before you. A long, narrow room. Stone floor. The walls are bare plaster, stained dark at the base from decades of drainage. 5 mortuary tables are arranged in a row, each bearing a wrapped figure. Linen pulled tight, edges tucked beneath the weight of the body. The shrouds are uniform, institutional, cut from the same bolt of undyed cotton. At the far end of the room, against the back wall, there is a 6th shape. It rests not on a table but on the floor, slightly apart from the others, partially folded, as though draped over something that is no longer there, or something that was never meant to be there at all. The photographer was a man named Edwin Hargrove. He operated a small commercial studio on Cloth Fair, just minutes from the mortuary. His contract with St. Bartholomew's Hospital was unremarkable. He had been documenting cadavers for the anatomy school since 1859. His method was consistent. He would arrive after the orderlies had finished their preparations, set his camera at the east doorway to capture the full length of the room, and expose a single wet collodion plate. Hargrove's exposure log for December the 14th, 1862, reads as follows. 5 subjects arranged, 1 plate exposed. Duration, 9 seconds. Conditions, gas lamp plus reflector board. 5 subjects. He recorded 5. He saw 5. Return your attention to the image. The 5 shrouded forms on the tables are evenly spaced. Their outlines are crisp. Heads, shoulders, the ridge of folded hands beneath the linen. The exposure is clean for its era. Hargrove was meticulous. But the 6th shroud on the floor is different. Its edges are softer, not blurred by motion. There is no motion in a mortuary, but softer, as though the fabric itself is less substantial. The folds do not behave the way linen behaves. They curve where they should crease. And beneath the cloth, there is volume. Something gives the fabric shape, but the shape is wrong. It is too narrow for a human torso, too long for a child. The proportions do not correspond to anatomy. In March of 1863, a formal inquiry was opened, not by the hospital, but by the Metropolitan Board of Works, which oversaw mortuary licensing. The reason was not the photograph itself. The reason was the linen. The requisition book for St. Bartholomew's Mortuary recorded that 5 shrouds were drawn from stores on the evening of December the 14th. The storehouse clerk, a Mr. Thomas Bewley, signed the chit. The receiving orderly, James Meccan, countersigned. 5 shrouds in. 5 bodies prepared. The numbers balanced perfectly. When Hargrove's photograph was later reviewed as part of a routine archival transfer, a clerk in the board's records office noted the discrepancy. He counted 6 wrapped forms. He counted again. He filed a memorandum. That memorandum triggered the inquiry. The deposition of James Meccan, dated April the 7th, 1863, is preserved in the London Metropolitan Archives. It is 4 pages long. His statement is calm, factual, and entirely unhelpful. He states that he prepared 5 bodies that evening. He states that he used 5 shrouds. He states that when he left the mortuary at 10:30, the room contained 5 occupied tables and nothing on the floor. He was asked directly, was there any additional linen in the room? Any discarded material? Any sheet or covering left behind from a previous day? No, sir. The room was swept and cleared before preparation began, as is standard. He was asked if he had seen the photograph. He had. He was asked to explain the sixth shroud. "I cannot, sir. I have no explanation. That was not present when I left the room. Look at the image once more. The sixth shroud on the floor. Notice its position relative to the back wall. It doesn't touch the wall. There is a gap, perhaps 8 inches, between the fabric and the plaster. It sits in the room as though placed with intention. Not crumpled, not discarded, draped. And there is one more detail that the original inquiry noted, but could not resolve. The 5 shrouds on the tables cast faint shadows to the left, consistent with the gas lamp positioned at the room's northwest corner. Hargrove's equipment notes confirm this placement. The 6th shroud casts no shadow. In 1864, the Board of Works closed the inquiry without conclusion. The final report spans 2 paragraphs. It attributes the anomaly to, quote, "a possible defect in the photographic medium or an artifact of the development process," end quote. Hargrove was consulted. He examined his original glass negative under magnification. His written response, dated June 1864, is a single sentence. The negative is without defect. The 6th shroud is present on the plate. No second photograph was ever taken of that room on that night. No other photographer was present. Hargrove's plate is the only record. The linen stores were audited. 5 shrouds out. 5 shrouds used. No surplus. No shortage. The arithmetic is flawless. And yet the image, the single 9-second exposure made by a methodical man with a steady camera, shows 6. Consider the photograph one final time. 5 bodies on 5 tables, documented, identified, and later buried in the parish ground of St. Bartholomew the Less. Their names are in the ledger. Their causes of death are recorded. They are accounted for. The 6th shroud on the floor belongs to no one. No body was found beneath it. No body was reported missing. No additional remains were logged that week or that month. It is simply there, draped over a shape that does not match any human form, casting no shadow in a room lit by a single gas lamp, present on a glass negative that an experienced photographer declared to be without defect. The extra shroud has never been explained. The glass plate survives in the Wellcome Collection's photographic archive. It has been examined 4 times since 1864, in 1903, 1938, 1971, and 2009. Each examination confirmed the same finding. The 6th form is not a double exposure. It is not a chemical artifact. It is not a flaw in the collodion. It is on the plate because it was in the room. 5 shrouds were signed for. 5 bodies were prepared. 1 photograph was taken. And yet there, on the cold stone floor of St. Bartholomew's Mortuary, something lay wrapped in linen that no one provided, covering a shape that no one can identify, casting no shadow under the light. What occupied the 6th shroud? The record offers no answer. Perhaps you have one.